like to discuss an idea that I've had for a long time. That being Age of Empires and other games for that matter in the classroom. Now, as you can see here, I'm about to wipe out the Persians once and for all at the Battle of Salamis. For those of you who don't know, the Battle of Salamis in the year 480 BC was one of, if not the largest, well, definitely the largest naval battle in antiquity, and one of the biggest asymmetrical victories for not just in general Western civilization, but in history. It's about 300 or so Athenian, Spartan, even various Greek vessels versus the Persian Navy, which was primarily Phoenician-built ships and crews. But anyway, how did I learn a lot of the history that I know? Just from playing this game, honestly. Playing Age of Empires and playing Crusader Kings or Europa Civilization, but mostly Age of Empires. Oh, look at that. Now the idea I wanted to pitch today is, what if, because the problem I've noticed a lot is that people think history is a boring subject, or they think it's a nerdy subject, or they think it's just, what's the point of learning about it? It's all trivial, it happened in the past. Well, if you don't understand history, you can't understand, well, modernity, you can't understand the world we live in today at all. You've got to have at least a basic grasp of it, because, they like to say history repeats itself. This being a really good example right here, tying in with the current situation in Iran, because the Greeks were able to hold Salamis, which was essentially a strait for the Persians' invasion. And had they lost that battle, who knows what might have happened? We might all just be Persian. Or something like that today. And what the Greeks were able to do was find a point of leverage that they had over a far superior foe, and use that completely to their advantage, and use the enemy's greatest strength, which was their numbers, to their disadvantage, by essentially clogging up the strait that they had to pass through and massacring their navy. These guys are power. But the broader idea, and once I finish this match, I'm going to go a little bit more in depth here. So, is what if you're going to high school, or you're sending your kid to high school, and they actually had a class they could take called, the history of the world taught by a more hands-on method. Right, because, for me personally, I have difficulty concentrating on a lot of things, and, oh crap, I gotta take care of this real quick. Uh-oh. Where's my temple at? Athena demands priestesses. Where did my temple go? There it is. Let's send them over there.
The Persians mean to land on Salamis.
Yeah, sure. I don't need these people. Bye. So getting back to like I said, I have difficulty concentrating. So if imagine having a history class that was taught, and it doesn't have to be one class, it could be a whole series of classes where they use an interactive mechanism like Age of Empires or one of the Paradox games as the literal assignment. And I literally typed it into Claude yesterday. I said, tell me about Age of Empires in the classroom. Age of Empires in the classroom, what that would look like. And it generated a pretty good, honestly, lesson plan right off the bat. So I was thinking the first week or two you'd learn, it'd be an overview, you'd learn generally, like you'd read a few texts, you'd kind of get familiar with the topics that they'd be going through. But then from the third week on, the assignments would literally be completing campaigns in Age of Empires. Like 1 week you'd be really in-depth studying the civilization you're playing as. The second week you'd be doing the first couple missions, but doing it in a way where it reflects how it translates. Like, so if I were teaching a class, what I'd have the students do is pick a campaign. So for instance, this one's really good. This is the Peloponnesian War and Persian Wars campaign, Battle for Greece. And I would have them read the first part of, I tie it in directly with reading the texts of the histories by Herodotus and the Peloponnesian War by Thucydides. And I'd tie that in as a parallel assignment. But then for their actual project, it would be completing the campaign, and then I'd throw in because there's a certain amount of special achievements you can get. Like for instance, if you research all the naval technologies in a certain mission, or if you can accomplish one of the missions without, losing any of your town centers, extra stuff. And then I'd have them explain why they picked that specifically, and then I'd also kind of make it a little competitive. Who can finish the campaign on hardest the longest, or the quickest? Which obviously that wouldn't be tied in directly with the grade, but it would definitely keep the students engaged.
Xerxes comes for Salamis!
Yeah.
Drive his forces back!
Alright, where are my priestesses?
Okay,
I like how in this version they literally took the monk from regular Age of Empires 2 and then reskinned it, revoiced it, and it's just a priestess, but literally does the exact same thing.
My thanks, Themistocles. Here in the temple, we have many artifacts that once belonged to mighty ages.
Boom.
You may
That's all we
take one
gotta do.
in this hour of need.
Prostagma.
We have scrubbed this rock clean of the mead as a mariner scrapes his boat clean of barnacles.
I counseled the king against fighting you here, Athenian. No matter, I shall crush you all the same.
Athens has turned back fiercer warrior queens than you, Artemisia. And just as Theseus fought off the Amazons, so we shall put a stop to your invasion.
Gastropheteros. So yeah, look at this. So I'd take a specific unit like the Gastropheteros or the Strategos, and or maybe the galley or the trireme, and I'd have them put together an interactive report, maybe a little PowerPoint video. I'd have them construct a model of their own, but also tie it in with the game, because for me, I found it always way easier to focus on things if I had something like where I could kind of model it or simulate it. I really never liked writing long reports or anything like that. Thank God we have AI now to do that. Oh, it's a naval attack. Okay, no worries. That'll be even easier. Hold on. is on hard? What? Okay. Oh, there we go. So yeah, having talked about, you know, naval tactics in the Persian Wars, or literally the Battle of Salamis, or the Thermopylae. There's a really good Thermopylae mission.
I am done with this folly.
Yeah, you are.
Turn this ship around and get us back to Halicarnassus. Ram anyone, friend or foe, who tries to stop us.
Okay, so yeah, to defeat the Persian ports at the Piraeus.
Loath as I am to admit it, you fight well, Themistocles.
See, look at that. Or just have them research Piraeus and how today what Piraeus is. Piraeus is basically the largest shipping hub in the Mediterranean and one of the maybe top 3 or 4 shipping hubs in all of Europe. It's key. Oh, let's pick an aura effect. I'm not a huge fan of galleys. My main focus on naval maps are demo ships and frickin' fire ships. Archery and Lamboy, Marines and infantry. Let's do archers and whatever, too late now. Alright, let's knock this fort out. Oh, and tie that in too with study abroad. Like, imagine playing a game like this for a class, or just for fun. And then going and visiting all these places in real life. The people who made these missions, I mean, I've beaten almost all of them, or at least I've at least played basically all of them that come with the game. And then I look up on Wikipedia, or I look up on the internet just about them, and I learned things that I've never heard before, but it's so closely tied in with the real history. And I mean, all my friends, they think oh yeah, I used to be a history teacher. Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind that, but I really want to tie it in and make it more interesting, because the biggest problem with the way history is taught today is people think it's boring. People think it's irrelevant. And that's starting to change more, I think, but it's not changing at a rapid enough level. Yeah, I mean, imagine doing this and in your 3rd semester, or I don't know how you do it, 2nd year, or if you really decide to, like there'd be a bunch of electives too, that I would offer. And then you'd go to Greece, you would go to Italy, you would go to maybe Turkey or Germany or Lithuania, and then you see the castles and the churches and monasteries and shipyards and everything, and the layers and layers of historical the historical mosaic.